Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Why Ukraine live stream. This will be, the second or third time this week I've done a live stream. Sorry, I had to take a pause for a couple of days, but it was really good. I got a lot of things done. I was able to update orders. Everybody who bought tourniquets should see their tourniquets fulfilled. Their tourniquet orders fulfilled. I was able to order 36 tourniquets for our frontline troops. And yesterday I spent, like 4 hours treating the coats and jackets that your money purchased for our soldiers on the front line. I treated them with anti-rain coating, the spray that you put on. And in a couple of cases, I was able to use the rest of the silicone sealant mixture. And those, if you could walk around my house right now, you would see that it's like just everywhere. I've got coats hanging up, drying on all of the heaters. We've got radiator heaters, as you would say. That they call them batteries, by the way, here in Ukraine. By the way, if you're still watching after the first diatribe I did just there, I'm an American. I live in Ukraine. I was in the International Legion. I got injured. I am going back to the International Legion, hopefully very soon. Basically, once I'm able to do 4 pull-ups with this arm here. Now, we're just to let you know, we're going to get into some of the news, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably watch a lot of Ukrainian war news. I'm going to give you information from the perspective of someone living in Ukraine who talks to Ukrainians every day about a lot of these issues, and I find out a lot of things. Oh, that reminds me, I need to make a little note here. Akhmetov. I want to talk about that. And sometimes I get information from my Ukrainian students that I would normally just never know. Never know. Like, for example, I'll just talk about it right now as people are coming in. Boy, I hope everything's working. Let me just check on my apps and make sure that my live stream is actually live streaming. Give me just a moment. I can walk and chew gum at the same time, but I can't type and talk at the same time. When I start doing that, the words I say become the things I type, or vice versa. I'm sure you've all had that experience. But I had a really interesting conversation with one of my students yesterday, something I would never know. So there's a dude, he's what we call an oligarch. He, okay, looks like my live stream is up. Oh, I got an amazing 4 people. Thank you, you 4 people who are watching right now. I truly appreciate that. Really and truly. And let's see if I can. Even if you are Russian trolls. Oh, hey, Sally. Good to see you. No. I didn't have time the last 2 days because I had a crazy schedule that I had to teach my classes. My students, I teach English here, and so my students always come first. Yeah, my students always come first, so I always have to think about them, and if I'm like super tired because I got up at 4:30 this morning so that I could teach this, and then like for example, the night before last I was teaching until about 9:30 at night. So that's too late for me to be able to get up at 4:30 in the morning and do this live stream, or vice versa. Yeah, no, I'm actually going to probably have another live stream. I'm guessing usually Jonathan and Miss Pierce from uh, ATP Geopolitics usually does a live stream at about 5 p.m. On Saturday. Well, what's for me Saturday afternoons. So I expect I'll have that. And hey, Bellatrix, I should be sleeping. Yeah. Um, well, I guess thanks for. Maybe I'll help you go to sleep. Um, I'll try at least. I am pretty good at putting people to sleep. That's what I've been told anyway. So yeah, let's get into the news here. And I'm just going to do this kind of impromptu because one of my students was telling me about this. So all right, now I know this guy's name, Akhmatov Rinat Akhmatov. Yeah. Now he is the richest man in Ukraine, and I don't think he's in Ukraine, of course. I mean, but the richest Ukrainian. He is an oligarch, and he benefited greatly under previous corrupt Ukrainian governments, where he was able to. He basically at one point, and I don't know if it's true right now, but he at one point was responsible for about 40% of Ukraine's total uh, foreign income, or incoming and outgoing, like import export. He controls, um, if I'm not mistaken, he controls a lot of different systems. But his first big one was the oil company, which is Ukrgas, or I guess this is Ukrgas Vidobuvania. Oh Jesus! But yeah, it's the largest, gas and oil company. So this goes way back to the 1990s, essentially, and just I mean, not that he's a bad guy necessarily. I know that he is actively helping Ukraine. Um, I have a suspicion that he is lending funds to a lot of different maybe uh, you know different Ukrainian projects. So it's very interesting. So his name is Rinat Leonidovich. Now, keep something in mind here. Ukrainians do not have middle names. Yeah, they don't even know what a middle name is. They'd never heard of it. When it causes a huge amount of confusion on my paperwork and the paperwork for foreigners in general, because Ukrainians have a patronymic, and the Russians do too. This is why sometimes. Oh, thanks, Sally. Yeah, I'll be doing this for another maybe an hour, hour and a half. So I feel you if you need to go back to another stream. Um, so yeah, Ukrainians have patronymics. Okay, they don't have middle names. Which is why sometimes you will hear of Vladimir Putin referred to as Vladimir Vladimirovich. The Vich means son. So just like some, people who are named Johnson or Jameson, for example, originally that meant son of John, son of James, because the tradition that we have now of everyone having a last name is a pretty new idea. And in some places, like in Scandinavia, for example, people didn't have last names. They just had, Peterson or Johnson or whatever. Leonidovich. Okay. So what's interesting about this guy is he one of my students yesterday told me that he is widely rumored to be the bastard son of, I believe his name is Andre, no, Leonid, yes, Leonid Kuchma. So that's why his patronymic is Leonidovich, because Leonid Kuchma is the former president of Ukraine. And if you notice, they look exactly like each other. Akhmetov, to go back here, okay, Akhmetov, as they say, okay, he looks like Kuchma, and he he was the so as is common with oligarchs, Leonid Kuchma was also, and he continues to be also an oligarch. Um, and a longtime president of Ukraine. I think he had 2 terms as president of Ukraine in the uh, early 2000s. Let me take a look here. Oh, no. Okay. So from 1994 to 2005. So for quite a long time. So this would be at the absolute height of Ukrainian corruption. So he's like the corrupter of the corruptest. All right. Now, I will tell you that he is and has been, trying to do good stuff for Ukraine. You just have to understand that this corruption was built into the system as an inheritance of the communist, um, you know, um, the communist legacy of corruption as being just part of the system that everyone had to accept. So Leonid Kuchma had a lover on the other side of Ukraine, and and so his actual wife was Ludmila, okay, but he had a lover on the other side of Ukraine, and um, Akhmetov was his son by that other lover, and this son. There's a saying, I guess, here in Ukraine that I didn't know about, that men always prefer their lovers' children over their wives' children. I was actually told this. Um, oh, very cool! I'm so happy that people over in Mercado are. Oh, thank you, Sally. Thank you very much. Yeah, I try to come on after uh, Sonky FH posted it. Super cool. Super cool. Yeah, so great. Welcome, Cheryl. And thank you very much, Sally. And Sonky FH, whoever that is, awesome. Good on you. Thanks very much. So anyway, it's just kind of an interesting thing that the bastard son of the president became the going the wrong way. Became the the richest oligarch, and so he's not the child of this Ludmilla. He's the child of another woman. And that's this is just sort of public knowledge that everyone knows about. So just to yeah, cool. Good to see you here, Sonke. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sonke. Okay, yeah. So let's get into kind of the news here. By the way, if you're new, just to let you know, I have a website. It's whyukraine.myshopify.com, where I raise money for specific units for the International Legion for the defense of Ukraine. Right now, I'm raising funds for the 4th Training Battalion and the Alpha Company 1st Battalion. And I'll go into more detail about that. And then I also have, I'm still raising money for Tony. He's getting ready to come here, and he might even be in the chat soon. Well, thank you, Anna. Thank you very much. And then also, I'll get to some of these other programs that I'm doing for fundraising and talk about what those are. So, but you can take a look at that. So I just think this is very, very interesting. Ukragas, don't ask me to pronounce the rest of that word, is commissioned a new well with a daily flow rate of 250,000 cubic meters of gas. Yeah, so Naftogaz, I'm sorry. I said it was Ukragas, but Naftogaz is the actual parent company, okay, of this. That's the one that Akhmetov controls. Akhmetov. But this is good news. This is not a corruption thing. This is amazing. It's amazing that here in the middle of war, and they don't give the location of this well. Thank God. But you know, the gas company is expanding its its capacity. So basically, it's possible that how do I say this? Oh, and I should have. I think I have the article in here. I meant to have it. Okay. Ukraine is cutting off the gas. So keep in mind that throughout this entire war, Ukraine has had, and I'm not going to look up the article because I can't talk about it and look it up at the same time. Ukraine has had a contract with Russia, with I think Gazprom, okay, to provide natural gas to Europe through. There's one pipeline, and most of that natural gas is, I believe, it's going to Hungary, Austria, possibly Slovakia, and maybe Serbia. Could be wrong about that, but those countries. And then these are the very countries who are fighting against Ukraine's ability to join NATO and saying, they're an illegitimate government, fighting against their ability to join the EU, to get EU funding. So Ukraine has said, listen, we're no longer going to transfer that oil, or I guess it's oil and gas. I can't remember off the top of my head. We're no longer going after 2024. I'm like, why are they even still transferring gas from Russia? I mean, I know that they want to fulfill their agreements, their contracts, but I would be like, no, the war is on. We're not sending anything from Russia. I also know that it's about money. They're still getting paid by Russia for this oil, but necessarily. Now the rate of flow has been much reduced. It's like 40% of what it was before the war, and there's only one pipeline now because one of them got blown up. But anyway, yeah, Tony rules, man. Shere Khan, you damn straight. By the way, I have another friend of mine who Tony knows as well, and we were just talking about it last night on Signal, who is planning to also come back to Ukraine. He's been home for some months, and he's raising up money for a plane ticket. I told him, hey, listen, maybe we could do a fundraiser for you to help you get back sooner. Really trustworthy guy. That's where the conversation ended. But I'm going to have him. I mean, he's actually, yeah, he's just an awesome dude. And so I'm going to try to get him on to start live streaming with him for a little while so you guys can meet him. And we'll see if we can help him get back sooner rather than later. I don't know if he's going to join the Legion or not. He's talking about maybe joining the GUR or Azov or whatever. Anyway, so I just wanted to point out that there's this potential that Ukraine could replace a lot of the capacity for natural gas that Europe is being starved of. It puts them in competition with the United States, but I think ultimately both will benefit from it. I'm sure everyone's expecting me to talk about this goddamn excuse me, this goddamn IL-76 business. And here's what I will say about it. Blah, blah, blah. That's what I'm saying. Liar's gonna lie. Yeah, Shere Khan. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. No, but I trained with him. I know he's a good guy and serious. So he was one of the guys I knew from the barracks. And yeah, but there were some of those poor college student posers. Yeah, there are some of those too. But yeah, so what makes, I mean, look, liar's gonna lie. Okay, that's all. I mean, I don't know what you guys believe. Yeah, secular Sakai is freaking awesome. Trying to get against tyrants, and yeah, I just I wish I could do more. I wish I could help more people who are trying to. And I know they're helping me as well. Anyway, so the point of this IL-76 business, all right. Yeah, I don't believe that there were any Ukrainian prisoners on board. They just coughed that up at the last minute. They probably had this idea prepared beforehand, actually, to say, okay, the next time we get a plane shot down, a big plane like that, let's have this story prepared. Let's get this list ready. Only nobody checked to see who was going to be on the list and if they had already been exchanged. These prisoners. Let's make up this big story about how Ukraine shoots down its own. And then I saw, I believe it was a Twitter post from the Russian foreign minister saying that not only did Ukraine shoot down in 2014 the jet carrying a bunch of Europeans flying over Ukraine. Not only did Ukraine do that, now they've shot down their own people. And when are we going to pay attention to these war crimes from Ukraine? Like, this is totally just a psyop. And what makes me so angry is I think today, or yesterday, I guess it would be yesterday. I try not to even, I just hate this shit. But they're making a big to-do about it in the UN Security Council. They're calling, we have to call a UN Security Council meeting. And the UN is letting them do this. And we all saw, and I don't want to show it, we all saw the picture of Gutierrez, the president of the UN, shaking hands with the clown, Lavrov, in his big red clown shoes. And like, why? Why is the UN giving this the time of day? That just UN equals useless. Worse than useless, they're platforming these lies. They're giving credence to these lies. Even, okay, enough. Yeah. Hey, K&K, no, you're not too late. It's all good. We're just getting started. We're just cranking up here. Yeah. We're just cranking up. You're all good. Thank you for coming. So let's talk about stuff that's happening inside of Ukraine. Yeah. So Ukraine's government will cut payments to internally displaced people from war zones. Boop, boop, alarm signal. Okay. So, I mean, I guess technically speaking, I am an internally displaced person. I mean, I was living had a wonderful, comfortable apartment in a beautiful, well, okay, the apartment was beautiful. The exact part of the city where I lived was not, but it was very close to beautiful parts of the city in Kyiv. Okay, just a really nice apartment, not too big, 2 bedrooms, which was actually 1 bedroom more than we needed, but we had it. I wanted 2 bedrooms just in case I ever needed to sleep somewhere else. I didn't want to have to sleep on the couch. You know what I mean? But that never happened. I mean, so but yeah, so they government better be real careful about this. Okay, so total spending on payments to internally displaced refugees will be reduced by 30%. So 4.9 people relocated within the country. I think that's not accurate. I think it's much more. I mean, based on what I'm seeing on the ground, I think it's closer to double that, like 10 million. And the reason for that is for tax purposes and other purposes, you have to register your location in with the Ukrainian government, and that this is how taxes get counted and distributed based on the total population in a given area. And when you move, you're supposed to do that. It's kind of like in the United States, kind of like with your driver's license. If you move to a new state, you have 30 days to get your driver's license in the new state. It's a little bit like that, but there's more writing on it. It's not just about your driver's license. It's about money. Where does the money go from the federal government? A lot of people just do not update that information, and they never do. Okay, so and they have good reason for that, because if they are coming from, if they're coming from Sumy, which is in the far east of Ukraine, or as I well know, okay, so I have a number of students who now I'm in the far west of Ukraine at the moment, and this is another example of kind of what I'm talking about. But there's lots of people who were living in Kharkiv and now they live in Kiev. They were living in Sumy and now they're living somewhere over here. Okay, they know that if they update their location, the money from taxes then will go to Kiev or Zhytomyr or Lviv, and they don't want that. They want their money to go to Sumy. So or wherever they are from, their hometown. So they're not going to up this. So anyway, so the number is much greater. They need to be real careful about how, when they cut these people off of receiving social assistance. So 2.5 million receive social assistance. Sure, I believe that, absolutely. Because a lot of people who moved, they had money to move. That's the reason they moved. Okay, a lot of those people who are left in these towns and cities out here by the front line, in close, like Kramatorsk and Kupyansk, those are frontline cities. And actually, let me go to Deep State Map just to give you a reference as to where the frontline situation is. Yeah. Okay. So these cities here, people who are living in these areas, and even over here where they're getting shelled every single day, coming from Belgorod or coming over the Russian border, if they had the money to move, they moved. Okay, so they didn't need this extra assistance. But why is this happening? Then the reason it's happening is, of course, this is also part of the partners' demand to continue financial assistance for Ukraine in 2024. So, Ukraine spends 80% of all tax money on defense, and so basically, social assistance, healthcare, and education are covered mainly by financial assistance from partner countries. So that's the U.S. and the EU. Okay, individually or as a whole. And like it should be the other way around. Okay, 80% of all the money Ukraine spends on defense should be coming from foreign governments. That's how it should be. Okay, and then Ukraine can spend whatever money it needs on, to cover social stuff, normal government things. That's how it should be. But for some stupid reason, because we know all the reasons, right? About corruption and we don't want to spend money to help a war. We just want to help humanitarian assistance. And just in general, European and Americans forcibly putting their heads in the sand, and politicians as well. This is all flipped, all backwards from what it should be. Okay, but regardless, so now, according to international standards, 2 years is enough to adapt, and partners are demanding that spending be revised. So basically, they're putting pressure on Ukraine to stop giving financial assistance to people who've had to move. If they took that assistance, it's not easy. It is not easy to get this financial assistance, I guarantee you. It probably took 6 months just to get the money. Thank you, Cheryl. Yes, Sumy is east of Chernihiv, west of Kharkiv, but it's just as close to the Russian border. Yeah, Anna, it's beyond cringe. It's aiding and abetting terrorism. Really. My light just flickered a little bit. I had a power outage Thursday, so I'm always concerned that I might lose power in the middle of a live stream. So Lydia Films has an excellent film about Sumy in the first month of the full-scale invasion called Good Morning, We Are... Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I in the summer of 22, I was able to help several refugees. Well, I mean, I have been this whole time, but that in that time particular, I was able to help a family who, let's see if I can find it here. I was able to help a family to, come on. Okay. Didn't want to do it. All right, there we go. I was able to help a family who moved to, let's see, I want to go with oldest. Yeah, so if you watch this video here on my YouTube. Hey. Okay, as soon as this goes away. There we go. So I helped this family move to Ukraine. I'd like to ask you... All right. There we go. That's me. Internet first. So anyway, so yeah, so this family here was in Sumy. They are now successfully living in America. And I just basically they found a sponsor. They had a sponsor, and I helped them successfully navigate the bureaucracy, United States immigration bureaucracy, which you can imagine was crazy. But they tell a really really interesting story. I have a second part of this interview and some other film footage that they gave me, which I think I included on some shorts. And this is actually part 1 of 2. So I think maybe I forgot to upload the second part of the interview, or maybe anyway. The point is, I just love this little dog sticking his head in. They were dog breeders. They are dog breeders, and they had to take with them to America 10 dogs. Really, just crazy. Anyway, but yeah, and 3 or 4 children. Beautiful, just adorable little kids. So yeah, if you get a chance, go check out that little. Yeah, Sumy. I have students in Sumy right now, and it's crazy. It's crazy to say that. I want to talk about. Let's see if I can. No. Let's see if I can find no. Yeah. This is the story I wanted to talk about here. So this is kind of a big deal, and it's definitely something that I have noticed. So Ukrainian companies are moving west. It's changing the country's economic map. So it's not just about the internally displaced refugees, lots and lots of companies are having to, and some of these, like for example, the example that they give in this article is this company called Centravis that makes some kind of part for cars, and it says every fourth car in Europe has our tubes. They have some kind of specialized tubes. So, of course, their main factory is in Nikopol, which is directly across the river from Enerhodar, just to give you some perspective. So Nikopol is down here. So Enerhodar is at the bottom of your screen, and Nikopol is at the top. Well, okay, right there. There we go. That's better. And yeah, they're just shelling it. The Russians are just shelling it every day, and so these companies are having to, they can't exist here. And Dnipro, Dnipro is, come on, James, get with it. There's Zaporizhia, so that's the nearest large city to the front line, and then Dnipro is up here. So this is well within missile range. Dnipro is getting missiled pretty regularly, and Dnipro is a major. This whole area right here is a major manufacturing zone. Kryvyi Rih, which is right here. By the way, the word Kryvyi Rih means crooked horn or crooked bend, if you want to know. Kryvyi means like crooked, and Rih or Rig, if I don't know which one it is. If you're speaking Russian or Surgic, basically it's because it was built on the crooked bend of a river. So that's where that comes from. The major manufacturing zone, and this is one of the areas that Russia, I mean, they were gunning they were gunning for this in the first year of the war. They were trying so hard to get to Kryvyi Rih. And yeah, so just to give you a sense of things, it's going to be really interesting how this affects Ukraine over the long term. Okay, because the long-term effects of this are going to be, unfortunately, that the east of Ukraine is going to remain poor, and the west of Ukraine is going to be more rich. So even when the war is over, that's going to be a huge problem that Ukrainians are going to have to deal with, And I can tell you personally, I know that a lot of the companies that I work with have moved. And the reason that I'm here where I am in the west of Ukraine is because the company that my wife works for, I helped her get a job with an American company, and they rented a house in the west of Ukraine for their people to come to, during the bombings and the power outages last year. Yeah, Nikopol is getting. I have a friend who is in Canada now, who I helped him kind of get settled. Sorry, it's early morning. I haven't stretched yet. Okay. Well, wait, Mitch. Let you come up with an R. Are we talking about Reddit here? Oh. Yeah. So anyway, these are the things that we're dealing with and thinking about in Ukraine. Yeah. So the reason, just so you know, the reason I'm in the west of Ukraine, the real reason is just free rent. To be honest, I'm not here because I'm afraid of the shells. It's that my wife's company rented this house, an amazing huge house here, and nobody in the company wanted to come because they all want to stay home with their families and relatives. People now are pretty much settled where they are. So I can totally see the point about, cutting some of that social assistance. They're only cutting it by 30%. So I hope that they are very careful, because if they're not very careful, they could piss off a lot of people. Remember, Ukraine is a democracy and it's highly activated right now. And boy, nothing will piss people off more than if you cut, if you take away their potatoes. That's really what it comes down to. It's gonna be just as big of a protest um, as the conscription law, the draft law that they had, which they had to retract that law. And you know, you see people here in Ukraine protesting against the way the government's spending too much money on, building infrastructure when they need to be spending it on defense. Okay, I've ranted enough about that. I don't have my things. Sometimes I put things in a kind of more of an order, and I don't have them in that kind of an order today. We're still seeing so many Western companies who are helping Russia, colluding with Russia. And in this case, it's France. Okay. Total Energies. And I'm sure it's pronounced completely different in French. It's probably like, or something. However the French pronounce it. Okay, I'm only being slightly racist there, but it's against French people, so who cares? Because they're super racist too. Okay, because and they really are. A French senator is launching a hearing into human rights abuses in Africa, and this Total Energy company secretly working with Russia. Okay, so this is French, the French imperial tradition of exploitation. Okay, so this Total Energies, it's the largest. It's like Naftogaz. Remember, we were talking about Akhmetov and this huge gas company in Ukraine. Well, this is France's version of that. Okay, and in America we have these huge gas companies, and they're sometimes pretty evil too. Yeah, is Russia looking for an excuse not to exchange prisoners? Oh yeah, absolutely. And they're that, and also just to, the IL-76 thing. It's just like I said, liar's gonna lie. A setup for the UN motion. Yeah, they had this. Like, this was a plan for the IL-76 psyop. This was like a folder. Okay, and when that plane went down, somebody in the FSB made a call and they said, "Okay, take out folder number 7926." And they freaking went to some file cabinet, took out this folder, and said, "Oh, okay, in this plan, we're going to blah 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 do this, and we're going to get a UN Security Council meeting, and we're going to try to use it as a casus belli against NATO or something like that." Which I actually think that's eventually what they're going to do. They're going to take, maybe not this situation, but some other false pretense to declare war on not right now, but maybe in a couple of years, to declare war on NATO. I think that's how that's going to work. It's going to be some situation like this coming out of this war. Anyway, sorry to drop that on you, but just like, anyway. Okay. Hi, Max. Hi, K-Bill. Not getting you mixed up this time. I'm very careful. Yeah, that's what I mean, Mitch. Yeah, that was their plan. They had it in a little folder with their plan. Okay. Okay, and the real deal is they're angry because that jet was supposed to be full of Russian VIPs, commanders or something like that. And they ended up not getting on that plane and getting on the next plane instead. Because somebody in the FSB said, wait a minute. I think Ukraine might shoot this one down. So let's use this for plan 6279. We'll say it was full of Jimbo. Oh God, you're calling me Jimbo in revenge for It's okay. Oh yeah, there was no Patriot, or a Patriot is not needed to shoot down a cargo plane, for Christ's sake. You know, or even an Iris T. It was probably one of the Russian made, the S-300 or S-200, more likely. Yeah. I'm glad. Yes, thank you. As the sod turns, yes. Jonathan, by the way, did you send me a message on Facebook? I'm not sure. I haven't had a chance to read it. I just saw the notification and I haven't had a chance to read over it. So apologies for that. But yeah, so basically, you know, uh, this uh, massive oil and gas company they're still, in bed with Russia, sucking on Russia's little teat, and somebody, thank God, somebody in the French government is trying to do something about it. Of course, they're coming at it from the aspect of climate change, okay, and Total Energies is fighting, and what they've done now is they are trying to target that senator directly by slapping him with some kind of a lawsuit. Boy, who do we know in America who does that sort of thing? Yeah, I wonder whose playbook they're reading from. Uh, yeah, maybe because they're short on ammunition too. Yeah, so I don't know. It's. I'm glad that I'm glad that somebody's making a big deal about this. Okay, even if it's coming from the uh, aspect of climate change and not, the Ukraine war, it's still a positive thing. Uh, you know, Positive coming out of a negative, because something has to be done about this bullshit. We have to continue to fight against these corporations and companies that only care about money and not about people. And okay. As you guys all probably know, we're hearing quote unquote positive signals that Orban is going to stop blocking, and also Fico, that's the Prime Minister of Slovakia, or Slovakia itself, has come out and said that they will not block Ukraine aid, and that's kind of a 180-degree turn. I just wonder what I want to know. And I know it probably won't come out for years and years. Ozzy Bugga, you have a stream. What do you stream about? Please tell us, and I'll like it and subscribe it and check it out. Anyway, all the regular true hearts are here. Thanks. Yeah, after a break of a few days, I understand that not a lot of people are going to be coming in. But yeah, so I just want to know. I know it probably won't come out for years and years, but I would like to really, really know, what did they do to both Hungary and Slovakia? What kind of I can't imagine that they bought them off. I don't think that would have worked. I hope they didn't buy them off. Okay, I imagine NATO, because that's the thing. Like, Orban met with Jens Stoltenberg, the the director, the head of NATO, and that's when things changed. What did they do? What did they say? Because there's no way to kick a country out of NATO. That's the crazy thing. So did they figure out some kind of a, listen, Orban and Fico, if you keep pulling this bullshit, you're in NATO. We have ways that we can screw you, and you're going to be really screwed. That's what I imagine. That's the only, because I don't imagine that. I think that, bribing them with additional aid or promising them additional help or something like that. I mean, I have said that money talks, and maybe it was more about, hey, we're going to invest a lot in your country by ramping up arms manufacturing in your country. Rheinmetall and all of these factories, you're gonna make a lot of money. Maybe it was a carrot and stick approach. I just want to know what, uh, Anna. That's interesting. Oh, you. Oh, wow, you live in Cambodia. That's really interesting. Yeah, what pulled their chains, Cheryl? Anna, you child trafficking? You think? Okay, or is that related to something else? I'd be very interested. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I mean, they both kind of like tucked in their tails, man, real quick, and it happened at the same time. So we'll probably never know for years, if not decades. But I want to know. Okay. Um, we know this. We know that I don't want to show his picture too much, but there you go. There's his picture. Hope you're all happy. That's from when he was still president. He doesn't deserve to be pictured that way anymore. It's very interesting. That there we go. I'll just show his hair. How about that? Just the hair. Perfect. Ukraine deal on rocks after Trump's comments. Okay, so basically, Trump is controlling the entire Republican Party just with his own word right now. Just a little snap of his fingers, and it's so much like a dictatorship. Just the same way Putin controls, his one party system, and these other guys, Orban. It's right out of the same playbook. Oh, he's like the secret guy. He's not secret, obviously, but he's the guy behind. He's not even in. He doesn't hold office. He has no real actual authority. He just has. Everybody thinks he's going to be the president. I hope that when the election happens, he's going to be in freaking jail. Yeah. Let's see how it does when he has to pardon himself from jail. But no, I don't think he's going to win. Just be honest. He's not going to win if we all fight it. Okay. Yeah. I want to let you know that oh, thanks, Sally. That's all right. Yeah, cool. Yeah. I remember you were catching up last time. You did a good job. I speak really slowly, so you can put it to 2 times speed and you'll be good to go. Can I just go into stasis until the part of history that Trump is in? Yeah, here's the problem, Mitch. If you go into stasis for this part of history, you might wake up in idiocracy 500 years from now. That's the problem. Yeah, yeah. Aussie Bugger, you read my mind. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I want to let you know, people have been asking me about, like, James, when are you going to put a drone on here? When are you going to start raising money for a drone for, like, Alpha Company 1st Battalion? I'm so glad you asked. So I just recently got a message back from here, I'll go to this one, and just recently got I wanted to go through people I know to find things. So Joe McDonald from Big Mac's Battle Blog, I went to him and I said, hey man, what Ukrainian, small and not too expensive, what Ukrainian drone company or drone do you recommend that I raise money for your unit or units like yours? Okay, and this is what he recommended to me. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be adding to the website, hopefully this weekend. I'm not entirely certain it'll be exactly this drone, or maybe I'll have this one and like another one. I want to have a couple of options, and it's now 29,000. It's less than $1,000. Let's see how much that is. The UAH to USD, and we'll put 29. Okay, so it's $776 for a drone. And that's about as cheap as you could find a drone that's going to be worth a shit on the battlefield. That's freaking cheap as hell. Okay, and it carries 6 kilograms, so that means it can be used for reconnaissance and dropping bombs. Or wait, it's an FPV drone, so let's see if it's a one-way trip drone or not. But regardless, this is the Big Mac recommended drone that we're gonna be raising money for, guys. So I know that this website looks like shit. I'm trying to get help. Okay, if you guys know anybody who is like a Shopify or CSS expert, CSS, it's cascading style sheets. It's part of web development. A CSS or HTML expert who wants to volunteer to help me modify my Shopify website. Oh my god! Otherwise, I'm gonna have to pay. I'll pay a Ukrainian to do it, and I'm sure I can find a freelancer who'll do it for a low cost. Because this needs to be revamped. I totally understand that. Yeah. So drones for puppies. Wait. I missed that part. Cheryl, what did you say about drones and puppies? Okay. You'll have to explain it again because I missed it. Yeah. Okay. So that's where we're going with that. And let me go back to where I was. Yeah. So, and I just want to support. Oh my God, what's going on? I just want to support a local Ukrainian drone company that is actively innovating. Because it's so important. It's absolutely so important. And given the problems that I had getting the tourniquet from outside of Ukraine, I don't want to go through that kind of bullshit again. I mean, it's possible I might also, as an alternative, maybe provide some other drones from outside of Ukraine. But I want to do this first. This is a very interesting story, though. I highly recommend you check it out. It's just a very interesting. Just even the first start there. Excuse me. Oh, she asked if you could take Max Pupper one sock. Oh, we need to find. Oh, he has a dog. Oh, sadly, I cannot. But I know. Yeah, no, I'm not allowed to have pets in this house. But I will tell you that I actually have back at my home in Cherkasy Oblast, so that's in the middle of Ukraine. I have the neighbors left. They moved. I guess they moved to Kyiv, and they left their animals. The dogs were being taken care of, but the cat had 3 kittens, and the cat just pretty much showed up on our doorstep with these tiny little baby kittens. And so back in Cherkasy Oblast, we've been raising these kittens for almost a year now. One of them died, unfortunately. There were 3 black cats and 1 gray cat. And so I got to name them. And I named them Obama, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Those are the 3 black cats. And then the gray cat, I named Gandalf. So, unfortunately, Malcolm X died. he got sick, and he just stopped eating, and it was really hard on everybody. But Martin Luther King and Obama are still around, um, and and Gandalf. And so Gandalf, I have a secret plan. I haven't told my wife yet, but when I go to the front, I'm taking Gandalf with me. You know. Uh huh. Uh huh. Okay. All right. Oh man, I know tons of oh boy. When I was in the barracks in the Legion, um, we had 5 dogs. We had 5 dogs. Um, and Ukrainians, especially right now with the war going on, they're like, yeah, we can't take care of dogs right now, okay? But these all every especially American soldier, I mean, they were just like cuddling up. These dogs were like the dogs of the Legion, basically. And I'm sure they're still there, all of them. They would follow us to the when we would go for a walk to the store, to the post office, they'd follow us and they'd come back with us, and big deal. Um, yeah. So, oh, oh, I that was sorry, Kiki. Um, I want to look up. I don't normally go sideways. Well, yes, I do. What am I saying? Um, let's see. I want to look up the so Trump. As I was going to sleep is when the whole Trump thing was going on. 83 million. That's a good. That's a good amount. It's not enough to take him out of the running for president or anything, but I think it's certainly justified. Because he needs to be hit hard enough that he will shut up, that he'll stop, torturing this poor woman. You know, but I mean, that's the problem, right? He'll probably just immediately raise 83 million from his supporters. Sadly, yeah, yeah. So craziness, Ugh. Craziness. Okay. Um. So yeah. So we're gonna do a drone fundraiser, and it'll be a continuous thing. It'll be a continuous thing. So don't feel pressure that you have to like give money right now for it. Um, Again, I don't even encourage you guys to give money. I think the most important thing to do is to share information about Ukraine, and share this channel with the people you think it's important to do. Share my website with people who um, don't just share it with people who have money. Share it with people who might share it with other people, because it's more important that that we try to keep. If every American just gave $1 to Ukraine, it would make a bigger difference than, um, as much as I love you guys uh, donating. It'd make a bigger difference if every American gave $1 to Ukraine than you guys, wiping out your bank accounts. You know. So, oh yeah, we already talked about this. I should have. But this is going back to the fact that so the EU is preparing for the fact that the agreement on the transit of Russian gas through Ukraine will not be extended after 2024, and they're coming to this realization. And it looks like, so what are they doing to prepare is the question. Yeah, Austria and Slovakia, as I said earlier. Um, so this is probably, this might be, maybe might be the 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 knob that the EU or NATO used on Orban and Slovakia. Maybe this was the knob they used. They said, "Hey, listen, um, after 2024, you're not getting any more gas from Russia, and we're going to make sure that you don't get any gas at all in your country." Maybe that's. Okay. Should we talk about that now? Okay. So K&K, I loved your recent shorts. Okay, so I've been having some a little bit of fun. All right. And if you've been wondering why, if you've been wondering why if you do watch my shorts occasionally, like this week I've just been spamming this
matters right now. Ask yourself what you and your country are doing to help.
reload this. So here's what I've been doing.
Shapes of our life. This is what we look like on day one. Step one is eating.
Come on. All right. So what I've been doing is I go on my phone and I use my VPN and I look up what is the most popular videos. What are the most popular videos, short videos in America? So on my VPN, I go to the United States, and YouTube uses that localization and shows. Oh, thanks, Kiki. I'm glad you do. Under that, she posts memes of Ayn Rand. Who? Okay, I have to read this here. My Hispanic Catholic friend, a very sweet person, is against abortion and posts memes of Trump with a golden aura like a saint, with people trying to touch the hem of his pants. Holy crap. Crazy town. And memes of Ayn Rand. Wow. Okay. Is Russia really using toxic gases right now? Yes, absolutely. They have been using tear gas on the front line, particularly what they do is when they find a trench that they just can't get people out of, they use tear gas on it to drive people out of the. That's been happening for a long time. And Tony, who's the veteran who we sent to, who we are sending back to Ukraine, he experienced that himself from the Russians. Anyway, so the point is, so I've got these shorts. I go and look up what's the most popular short videos on YouTube, and you can do it's called a remix. So you can take a 5-second cut of that short and add it to your own short. So this is a cut. It says cut from @Brownie, right? So so it starts out as this really popular video that everybody wants to watch for some reason, right?
Less and less carbs and changing your workouts to.
And then
Ukraine is what matters right now. Ask yourself what you and your country are doing to help Ukraine. Nothing else matters.
Shapes of our life. This is what we look like
right?
on day one. Step one.
So, oh, thanks, Kiki. Thank you. So this is what I'm doing. This is just an experiment. I'm just trying to like crack the wall of American willful ignorance and the YouTube algorithm, the whole YouTube thing, how YouTube works, to try and break through. So if you want to know, like James, like why the hell are you posting all of these shorts? Like those of you who don't ever watch my shorts, okay, it sounds weird saying that. I'm going to say my short videos. Normally, you'll see that I'm posting about just life in Ukraine or about the work that I'm doing to support, like here's a video of the coats and jackets. Okay. That kind of thing. But so now you know. Okay. Come on, YouTube. YouTube knows I have an ad blocker, so they like to slow it down and screw with me. So this is what I'm doing, right? So I'm using all of these like super popular videos and some of it works. Like last night it didn't work so well, but earlier this week, these little I'm a sneaky little bastard, but people were so angry, especially like on this video. This one here. People were so like, I got 50 comments and they're all like, why are you disturbing my life? I don't want to know about some stupid war on the other side of the world. Why should I care? You know, and that's why I sent out kind of an SOS on my. I did a post saying, "Hey, everybody, check out this video, and please go in and make a comment." And I'll ask that again. Please go in and make a response. Now, Paul, who I don't think he's here today, but Paul made the point to me that this is not the best way to sway people's opinion on Ukraine. I'm not even trying to do that. Like that's a whole other. That's not going to be done with a short video. I'm just trying to keep it up in people's consciousness, and if that means kind of poking at them a little bit and pissing some people off, fine. Fine. Just keeping it in their minds. And I know that there's a certain demographic of people who doom scroll YouTube shorts all day, and they're just coming over from TikTok probably, and they're mostly like Gen Z people who just don't care about anything but their own lives, and that's what I'm trying to make an impact on here. Just incidentally,
like on day one.
something new that I'm doing is so what this is a video of. These are the magnets on my refrigerator, okay? And something I'm doing on my YouTube, no, help me, on my Shopify is I'm hawking these support Ukraine magnets. So I buy these locally here in Ukraine. They're made in Ukraine. And I will, if you buy one of these, I will physically mail it to you. And also I should mention that the first 50, I have 50, maybe I have a little bit more than 50, but I have 50 of these envelopes. They're special edition. There's all different kinds of envelopes, but the first 50 people who buy one of these little collectible magnets it'll get sent to you in one of these envelopes. Okay. It'll come, and I think they're really cool. So this is one. If you take a look at that, you can also buy a magnet with this picture on it. Oh, what am I doing? I should do this full screen. I'm sorry, guys. Here, if I'm going to show this to you. So this is the envelope. You can also buy a magnet with that design. But there's a lot of these real, I think the envelopes are just as cool as the. This is just, I've got like 10 different designs, and I guess it'll be luck of the draw what design you get. But so the first 50 people who order one of these magnets, basically, so these magnets, I've got them for like $10, $15. That's obviously much higher than what they actually cost me. The point is, 50% of that I will give directly to the ZSU, and the other $5 will go to, or 50% will go to help my channel here, specifically with helping me find somebody to manage this, helping me to get help managing this Shopify, not just making the I need somebody to not just make sure that the website is working and stuff, but when I go back to the Legion, I need somebody who's going to manage ordering stuff, drop shipping or physically shipping, all of these things, and I'm going to need to pay somebody to do that. I can't count on just a volunteer, Yeah, Cheryl, why should I care is my cousin's favorite talking point. It's just a MAGA repeater. Why do you care? You don't even know what country you're in. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, Borg, I'm sorry. This is another reason why I need help. I need help. I need to set up I need to set up PayPal. I don't have PayPal enabled yet on my Shopify. Okay, that's the situation, actually. Now, if you want to just support me in general, I do have a Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. Somebody the other day was asking about, hey, if you have a Buy Me a Coffee account. We'd love to support you. I do. Here it is. It's buymeacoffee.com/whyukraine. And I will treat that money the same way as like a freaking magnet. I have not actually earned any money from that. So I say it's not buy me a coffee, it's buy me a drone. When I set this up, oh my gosh, in 2022 is when I think I set this up. That's what I wanted to buy a drone so that I could train on it and join the army. And that's what I did. I actually bought my own drone, trained myself how to use it, trained myself how to fix it, taught classes on how to fly them, and how to fix drones. And yeah, so anyway, you guys can. I'll start putting links to the Buy Me a Coffee, and I believe Buy Me a Coffee works with PayPal. So anyway, yeah. Okay, so we talked about that. Yeah. Where were we going? Okay, before we got all off track. I mean, it was kind of on track. I intended to discuss those things, so I'm glad that somebody brought it up and got me on that subject. Okay. This is interesting. All right, we all know, if you guys don't know what Telegram is, like, Telegram is the primary messaging app for Russia and Ukraine both. It's very, very interesting. Everybody in America, if you're not using just SMS, then you are using YouTube. No, God, fuck. James. Okay, hang on. More coffee. If you're not using SMS, then you're using Facebook Messenger. Okay? Facebook Messenger almost doesn't exist in Europe and possibly the rest of the world. I don't know. Most of the world, I would say. Europeans hate Facebook because they don't like sharing information about their family. There's a lot of reasons for that I can talk about and go into. Long history of things like, the KGB and the Gestapo, keeping files on people and violating personal rights and all of that type of stuff. So there's a lot of reasons for it, but also the fact that Europeans, and I'm including Ukrainians in this, they've all been living in the same place for like 5,000 freaking years. They know everything they need. Well, they think they know everything they need to know about someone. So when Europeans introduce themselves to each other, they don't do it the way we Americans or Australians do, where we're like, we're kind of like, so where are you from? What do you do? A European would never ask those questions. It's unnecessary and a violation of privacy and offensive. And so, yeah, I had a tough time. I still have a tough time with that here. But anyway, so Telegram was started by a Russian. 88% of Ukrainians use it. I use it every day. It's vital to my work and everything that I do. It's pretty interesting. It's also a major source of information. Volunteer meetings. It's how I send my students their homework, how I do my scheduling. And it's totally, I'm not going to say it's, yeah, okay. So, right. So it was started in Russia, but it's not now based in Russia. Russia, back in 2000, before the war, I can't remember what year, Russia tried to ban Telegram because they're trying to clamp down on information, only to find out that more than 25% of Russian government uses Telegram, and it's a vital part of their communications. Okay, so this article is this is lb.ua, which I highly recommend you go and read once in a while. It's a small Ukrainian independent newspaper. They have an English translation, or they have English translations of most of their articles, but it's kind of on a delay because the translation takes a little time. But it's still a good man. Sometimes you see articles on here. I always check different different articles, and I'm seeing some things right here. Like there will be they just, if you want to get opinions on all sides, it's so there's all kinds of things that this LB.ua and Euromaidan is okay. Anyway, the point is, this is still, Telegram is still being used by Russia, and I think so. This is the guy who created Telegram, and he lives on some island in the Caribbean, by the way. He so yeah. So it says here he presents himself as a victim of the Putin Chekist. Chekist means like KGB, of the KGB, because of his political position. He's not super politically active, all right, but the question constantly is, oh, okay, this is interesting. If you follow my posts, you know that on my mom's side, I trace my family line from Kyiv. So he says, 9 years ago, I defended the private data of Ukrainians from the Russian government and lost my company and my home. I would do it again without hesitation. So, it's just, I'm not going to say he's like Elon Musk. He's not, but it's very questionable. There's a lot of debate going on about should we even be using these messenger systems. So financing coming from the Arab Fund through the Russian Federation, like there's a lot of questions about this, and man, it's a real debate that's happening. And I would not be terribly surprised if there were an alternative to Telegram that were as good, that provided all the same functions as Telegram. Oh, Kiki, so you use it? Yeah, I think that people would. Jump over. So, Ozzy and Cheryl, I'm sorry I lost track of your conversation there. Yeah. You guys feel free to talk about the, yeah. Yeah. Many surprises for me this war. I thought USA population was pretty solidly supporting Ukraine. I'm amazed by this sudden turn. I was in the bubble, unaware of the undercurrents in the USA. Yeah. No, it's all because of Trump and Tucker Carlson and the control of, the Republicans talk a lot about, oh, we hate mainstream media. They are mainstream media. Okay, this idea that mainstream media is somehow leftist or liberal or communist is complete crap. Total lie. Maybe they were in like the Vietnam days, okay, but not now. And if Fox News is mainstream media, so, and yeah, okay, enough. Anyway, I'm just letting you know that this is a very interesting debate that's going on, and people are really seriously wondering, like, is Telegram being used by Russia for secret communications? And also, are they using it to, I mean, we know both the FSB and the SBU and GUR. So that's the Russian, the KGB, and the Ukrainian intelligence service, and the Ukrainian equivalent to the FBI, are monitoring Telegram actively and constantly trying to infiltrate each other's Telegram groups. The Telegram groups are basically like messenger groups, and that's how information gets exchanged on a massive scale. I mean, oh my God, okay, someone very close to me came to me a couple of days ago and said, James, is it true that, no joke about this, okay? Said, is it true that American schools all have hospitals or all have surgery clinics in the school where they force children to change their sex? Literally, this came from a Ukrainian. This came to me. And I had to explain, no, you that's Russian propaganda. And whatever Telegram channel you're getting that information from, you need to let everyone know in your Telegram group that that's Russian propaganda. That doesn't exist. That doesn't happen. That's not in America. Nobody's forcing children to change their sex. Okay? But, I mean, the Republicans in America are repeating that kind of bullshit as well. Yeah. Oh, cool. Cool. Thank you, Borg. Dude, you don't know how important it is. Once those are sold out, those are going directly to, the barracks. And I'm in communication every day with the sergeant in charge of distribution. And keeping track of what they need and everything. And I'm gonna send that out. Excuse me, if you'll just excuse me for a minute. So I've got here, and I'll just, there we go. So I'm buying, this is like secondhand rain gear that I'm finding, military grade. This is, I don't know what military this is from, but it's rubber. Okay, I'm buying these as much as I can, and then I'm also finding, at least army green or army brownish, greenish brown, khaki water. This is a waterproof winter coat. Okay. And I've got 20 of these. Yesterday, unfortunately, those are the only ones that came really actually waterproof. Tucker Carlson's father is a lobbyist for Hungary. Yeah, and we know that about the Republicans have held their CPAC conference in Hungary 2 years ago, 2 years in a row with Orban as a keynote speaker. Yeah, it's really, really true. Give me just a moment. I want to show you guys one of the coats that I treated. I gotta run downstairs. Give me a second. Okay. Sorry there. So this is just one of the completely random coats and jackets. So yesterday I got a bunch of bottles of, hang on. I got 20 bottles of this this spray treatment for waterproofing. I know this is not the greatest, but it does wash out. But basically, so I just hosed down the whole house. Smelled. You can imagine 20 bottles of this. It was cheaper to buy 20 of these bottles than it was to buy like one big bottle. Just very strange, but that's just how it worked out. I'm not sure how I'm going to reuse these bottles, but maybe I'll put like mosquito spray is a big thing that is really needed. So I'll rinse these out and fill it with like mosquito spray and send these to the army as well, because especially come spring and summertime, man. When you're out there in the field, those freaking mosquitoes are vicious. So anyway, I spent yesterday spraying down 14 of these coats, and I've got five. I got 5 more to go, and I'm gonna do something else with them. I got all the winter coats. That's the most important. The winter coats hosed down and sprayed down. I've got I've got like 5 more coats that I'm gonna work on today and get finished. And once that's done, then I will send all of that. The toilets are not ready yet. I'm sorry. It's been snowing here a lot, and I have to go and get supplies to do the toilets essentially. But yeah, okay. Anyway, let's move on. I know some of you don't care about that, so just Tucker is very similar to most Russians. Takes just enough facts to make their made up BS plausible, exactly, and then they just form it as a question. Like, oh, do we know where all our money's going? Well, yeah, we fucking do. We fucking do. All right. Here, this is. Let me see. Do I really need to talk about these other things? I can save these other things for tomorrow because there's something that I want to talk about that. I talked about that. I'm going to save this one for tomorrow. I think there is something that I really, really, really want to freaking talk about. And it's this. Excess Defense Articles, EDA. Now, ATP Geopolitics, Jonathan M.S. Pierce, turned me on to this last week. And he read the article in Forbes. And I was floored. I was like, what? Are you telling me? Okay. So we know that the Republicans are holding up aid to Ukraine. And we know that it's possible that they might hold it up, the real funding, okay? They might hold it up until November or possibly even next year. It's possible for them to do that, But there is this other method for sending stuff to Ukraine that Biden hasn't been using this whole goddamn time? Are you really telling me this? That a lot of people thought that this is like a positive thing. I'm going, no. This is like what? Now, the deal with this is so Biden has been using this presidential drawdown authority, which has to be approved by Congress however often. And that's what he's waiting on. Okay. But there's another method called the Excess Defense Articles, or EDA. And the EDA authority allows him to send weapons to Ukraine and other countries. For example, EDA public report. I'm still trying to figure all this stuff out, guys. Look, isn't this exciting YouTube content? It's a spreadsheet, what everyone loves to see. Yeah, but this is all of the stuff that America has sent to different countries. This ends in 2020, so we don't know anything after 2020. So 2021, 2022, 2023, we don't know. But they're continuing to send. So Israel, Moldova, Bahrain, Israel, Morocco, Israel, Morocco. Where's Ukraine? Is Ukraine even listed here? F. Ukraine. What? Some boats in 2019. Oh, I remember that art. I remember hearing about that. 3? Freaking 3? Is there another one? Okay, little tiny little things. There's not a big. Yeah, it's boats, clothing and equipment, 2015. So, right. So we have used this to send stuff to Ukraine previously. All right. Why? Why aren't we doing it right now? Hello, Travis. Good evening from Ohio Oblast. um, I'm sorry to welcome you with a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet. Right. So I mean, like, what is going on? Why isn't Biden using this right now? Now, I understand, and I couldn't find evidence to this, but I do understand that there is a $500 million limit, and that was in some article or another, possibly in the Forbes article. There's a $500 million limit on this EDA. Okay, but it's not clear to me. Is that a $500 million limit for the entire program per year? Or is that a $500 million limit per country per year? What are the limits here? If somebody can look that up, I really want to know. Okay, because this should. Why aren't we using this right now? And at the same time, you know, Russia is ramping up faster than we can, faster than the West can. This is part of having a siloed, totalitarian economy. They don't innovate very well, but boy, can they make the same thing over and over and over faster than anyone else. So civilian civilian infrastructure, shopping centers, bakeries turned into arms factories. Okay, 6-day work weeks. Okay, they're just throwing everything into it. They're throwing everything into it because they know they have to. And Europe is just barely waking up to this. What the hell? We have tons and tons of this stuff, and it's all, old equipment, but so what? Now, some people I was reading, well, the Presidential Drawdown Authority, okay, is for newer items. All right, newer items than the EDA. The EDA is for old stuff that's been sitting around for a long time, and the bad part about it is, under the law of the EDA, the country that that they have to be granted to, it says right here, partner nations pay for packing, crating, handling, and transportation, as well as refurbishment if applicable. EDA is as is, where is. Well, obviously that sucks for Ukraine, okay? So don't transfer this to Ukraine. Make the transfers to Great Britain or Norway or Spain or whatever, with the idea that those countries will do the packing, crating, and handling and refurbishment, and then send that stuff off to Ukraine. Okay? And then you can get, if there is this $500 million limit per country, then you can send $500 million worth of stuff to Great Britain, $500 million worth of stuff to Norway, $500 million worth of stuff to Spain, to Denmark, to Sweden. Okay? And in 3 to 6 months, after all that stuff gets refurbished, shipped and refurbished, then it just starts pouring in massively into Ukraine. And okay, yeah, maybe it's all a bunch of old stuff, okay? But I'm thinking about the stuff that's, like at the Sierra Army Depot, which, if you guys don't know, is the largest, the largest stockpile of Army equipment in America. But there are others that are almost as large in the eastern part of the United States and scattered around. Okay, you can just look at some of these pictures and see thousands and thousands of things. And this is the type of stuff that needs to be sent to Ukraine, like right freaking now. Why aren't we doing it? Why hasn't this happened? Somebody get on this, like yesterday. I don't know if I'm going to be joining ATP Geopolitics today for his Saturday live stream. But if I do, I'm gonna harp on this to the nth degree. Um, you know, uh, yeah. Thank you, Cheryl, for giving that little history. Yeah, it's really important. And let's not forget. I know this is complete segue because Cheryl and Aussie Bug are having a really important conversation in the chat right now. But it is really good to educate people about this, Cheryl. A really big part of what happened here was the monopolization of radio in America in the 1990s, uh, particularly AM talk radio. Okay, it was, and frankly, somebody mentioned like the Clinton administration. Yeah, the Clinton administration allowed that monopolization to happen, and then you combine that with at the end of the Reagan era, the removal of the fairness doctrine. Okay, fairness doctrine said that news needs to be fair and balanced under the FCC. So from 1949 to 1987, we had this, and Reagan, let's see here if I can find it. Reagan removed it in 1989, and that's what allowed Fox News to happen. Combine that with the under Clinton, the allowance of, under the Securities and Exchange Commission, the allowance of monopolies, and the nature of AM radio is that it has a shitty sound range, so it's not good for music, but frequency range, I guess, whatever. But it can travel extremely long distances. So basically, one antenna can cover most of the United States, and that's exactly the situation. Let me see if I can find the article here. One radio AM radio station, America, Rush Limbaugh. Let's see, and they're right in the center of the United States, and they're owned by Clear Channel. So, oh God. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna have to show you pictures of Rush Limbaugh right now. He's dead, thank gods. He died last year, I believe. But he, through this one radio station, because Clear Channel controls 80 to 90% of radio stations in the United States. That was allowed in the 1990s under Clinton. And the thing is, when you're out in the middle of fuck all nowhere, you're driving along. This is way before satellite radio, and most people still don't have satellite radio. Okay, and there's no Wi-Fi signal out there, and you ran out of your tape deck broke in your old pickup truck. What are you going to listen to? Well, there's only one radio station. Or maybe two. There's a local gospel radio station, and then there's this one AM radio station that you can pick up anywhere in America. And that's what people listen to. And it used to be literally 8 hours a day or more of just this one guy. Super right-wing bullshit. And I've listened to him. Unfortunately, I've been forced to. There's been situations where, I had to work in an office where they played that shit all day long and I couldn't get away from it. And it doesn't matter what, if you could come in as the most leftist liberal person, if you listen to this day after day after day for weeks, it just starts to seep into your mind. Your whole mindset becomes this guy's one viewpoint, And this was a plan. This was a planned thing by the conservatives in America to take over the American mind. And Putin is just following the play, and other dictators just follow the same playbook. Okay, so yeah, so Cheryl, thanks for bringing that up. And there's lots of other talk. He's dead now, but there's lots of other talk radio show hosts that are just following in his footsteps that have soaked up his audience. And that's this is where MAGA comes from. This guy was the Trump before Trump, at least in terms of politics. And he's, you can draw a direct line from the fairness doctrine to what's happening in Ukraine right now. And it all goes through this guy. Okay. And people said at the time, they said this is what's going to happen. And nobody believed it. And unfortunately, Bill Clinton, with the Democrats at that time, his big tent view of the Democratic Party basically turned the Democrats into, Republicans in sheep's clothing, as I like to say, who in many ways, allowed Republican policies. Anyway, so there you are. This is just a big deal, guys, and this needs to happen. We need to talk to somebody. Yeah, sure. Yeah, Reagan is rolling. Yeah, he didn't know. I mean, Reagan is rolling in his grave with what the GOP is doing now, for sure. And Trump gave him a Medal of Freedom. Yeah, that says everything, doesn't it? So, yeah, I think the other news and things. I really, really want to talk about this video right here. This is a really interesting video. I put it in my post. I posted it. This is a Portuguese dude who's with Azov. And he's just talking about his experience and what's going on. But he has some really important points about the rest of the Ukrainian army and the differences between the Ukrainian General Army and groups like Azov, or I think also, Kraken, these other Magyar, all of these other individual groups, and how they're different and what needs to change in the general Ukrainian army. And this is getting repeated and repeated. I'll talk about it tomorrow. These other things, we can talk about it tomorrow, guys. Because I know it's getting late and people. Yeah. Yes, thank you for asking, Cheryl. This will set you, at least here. I will put this into our chat. This will set you off. I had to really look for this, but this will set you off at least on the right course. So this is from the Defense Security Cooperation Agency, part of the United States government. And you'll see there's a lot of programs that I knew were happening. I just didn't know what agency handled them. And it's all coming from this. So there's humanitarian assistance. There's an excess property program. There's a humanitarian mine action program. There's foreign disaster relief. All of these things are going through this Defense Security Cooperation Agency. And I want to know, is this being fully activated for Ukraine? I was under the assumption that this was fully activated, and that's, this is where a lot of the stuff coming to Ukraine was coming from. But I want to find out, is this fully turned on for Ukraine? Because this needs to be just full pedal to the metal. You know what I mean? For Ukraine, even above Taiwan, even above, obviously above Israel right now. Don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that. That is literally Russians trying to distract us. Simple as that. Trying to distract the West from what they're doing, like playing a shell game. Here, find the war crime. That's what that's about. Okay. Yes, Kiki. Yeah, the Ukrainian army needs to take on the adapt to battle concept as a whole. This will be the model of future armies. Kiki, thank you very much. And that is the essential point of that Azov video. or at least the part where they are discussing that particular subject. But they go into, thank you, Kenke. Open the tap fully. And why are we not doing this? Thank you, Cheryl. Yeah, right to Biden. Yeah, thank you. Didn't even left it to expire. I'm like, why? We're not fully activated, man. Okay, one little thing I'll show you here. This is coming from my Telegram, but I'll send it to you. Give me a second. I want to. Yeah. Somebody shared this with me. This is a meme going around. Okay, so just take a moment to read this. Tyler, I just got a message. This is an email from Joe Biden. It says Tyler, and then it has the big Biden-Harris logo. I'm reading this for people who are maybe listening right now. Tyler, I just got a message from Amazon alerting me to the fact that the 5-pound gummy bear you ordered, screenshot below, is going to be 8 days late due to Houthi activity in the Red Sea. Words cannot express how sorry I am that this is happening to you. If it's any consolation, I've attached a map of Yemen below. Just draw an X someplace on it, send it back, and that area will be obliterated by the U.S. Air Force. Thanks. I look forward to your vote in November. Okay, Bill. Anyway, this says so much, right? A picture says is worth 1,000 words, right? It says more than 1,000 words. Well, apparently a picture of an email is also worth more than 1,000 words. Yeah. Nobody has to, Sally, nobody has to approve the EDA. The EDA is in bad idea to mess with the international free flow of 5-pound gummy bears. Yeah. I mean, it just shows you where our priorities are. And again, this was through Iran. Remember, Houthis are funded by Iran. Iran is in this axis of evil with Russia and China, with some hangers on like North Korea, if you want to count them. But this Russia went to Iran and said, "Hey, listen, we need to distract the West right now. Could you just stir things up in Gaza and with these Houthi guys, or whoever you can, just kind of stir things up. We'll kind of get Venezuela, threatening to take over some other country, and we'll just stir things up to distract people as much as possible. Can you do that?" And Iran's like, "Hell yeah, let's send these Houthis some money and weapons. Give them take the leash off of them, and Russia, will you train Hamas a little bit so they can cause a big hoopla?" Yeah, that's what's up. So yeah. Yeah, Kiki, it's very interesting what you're saying here. My son is an Okay. My son is an infantry officer in the U.S. military, and I tell him, don't get stuck in norms. Yeah. Use it while it still works and drop it when it's obsolete. Absolutely. Yeah, sure, Cheryl. Yeah. Yeah, got the U.S. left all divided against itself, Yeah, exactly. And then China went to Iran and said, "Hey, you're taking our money away," But yeah, so anyway. So definitely going back to nobody needs to approve this. Okay, this is part of the general, as long as the General Department of Defense budget is approved, this is part of that. So there's no special approval for that, unlike the Presidential Drawdown Authority or these other funding sources that that the president is supposed to be using, like the Lend-Lease program. There's no special approval needed. It's just boom, done. Okay. The only bad thing is that it's older stuff, and partner nations have to pay for packing, crating, handling. What I'm saying is, okay, maybe that's why he wasn't using it, because the stuff that's eligible for EDA is kind of broken down, and Ukraine can't pay for all this crating and handling or arrange that. Okay, so let's work with some partner nations. And if you're going to write a letter to Joe Biden, like, if this idea ever gets to him, like, let's kind of get him thinking in a little bit more creative fashion, okay, to make this happen, because that's what needs. It should have been happening already. Okay. I am on Twitter, and let me go to my Twitter. It's just my own personal Twitter account. I don't really. All I do is repost stuff from. All I do is repost stuff from X. All I do is repost stuff from YouTube on there. I don't actively use Twitter, but this is my Twitter account. It's what the hell is my? How do I even tell? I don't know anything about. Am I going to dox myself right now? I don't know. Okay, yeah. So this is my Twitter. I apologize, it's not all branded, but that's my. Oh my God, James! I just posted my Twitter to my Telegram like an idiot. Okay, delete. Okay, more coffee. Give me a second. And I need to close my Telegram so I don't do that again. Okay, I'm going to post my Twitter to the group. There we go. That is my Twitter right there. @Lothar Okay, so there we go. And really, though, all it is all it should be is, yeah. Maybe it's not actively posting. It was supposed to be posting, and I see that the last post is from May 2023. That can't be right. Okay, well, here it is. This is my Twitter. I don't really use it very actively, but it exists. There's so many different platforms. Yes, my Discord is active, but it's not open. So my Discord currently right now is only available to YouTube members. And I have that set up as a filter against Russian trolls and bots. Okay. Something is better than nothing. Can we fundraise to cover shipping stuff to Poland and have volunteers drive stuff into Ukraine? I can do one better. Okay. A lot of stuff now. Oh, thank you, Borg. I think I have like 3 Twitter followers, but thank you. I can do better. So the plan here with my website is to utilize existing in logistics systems. In other words, the postal services of Ukraine also are able to transfer a lot of things from Poland. Of course, there's been all these blockages at the border, so that's one reason. Even Greg Terry is saying, hey, he had an Amazon list where people could order stuff on Amazon and send it to Ukraine, and he's saying, yes, we're going to stop using that. So I'm going to be talking to him. I think we're going to, I am going to open it up, Mitch, to have like you said, just one room open for everybody. I need, if somebody wants to be like my moderator helper person with Discord, like, I just don't have time to manage it, because my God, look, and especially once I go back to the Legion and I'm actually, like, I'm not going to be managing Discord from the trenches. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I really want to, I really want to do that. Yeah. Anyway, where was I going with this? Okay, so utilizing existing logistics systems is really where I'm at, as much as possible. Yeah, Cheryl, I think. I mean, but Cheryl's already moderating like 5 other things, so I don't want to put upon anybody. You know, um, yeah. Greg Terry, he's not the only person, guys. There's so many charities and NGOs who are shipping stuff in, like, and I've said this before, but this is one that I have connections with. There's NorseAid.org. There's so many. The problem is a lot of them have kind of shut down a little bit, unfortunately. Really, because a lot of people who were volunteering in Ukraine have now joined the Legion and are fighting. And even I know that the guy who runs this, Eric is his name. You can see him here in this picture. He's actively trying to go and fight, because he has a lot of military experience and as a combat medic, and he was with the Red Cross and stuff. So a lot there, Greg Terry was saying over the weekend when we had our live stream on ATP Geopolitics that a lot of the NGOs that were working in Ukraine, he's not seeing them. And on an anecdotal level, he's not seeing them driving around and stuff. And I agree with that. I see stuff that's maybe kind of local. I see, like, because I'm very close to Hungary here, and so I see some Hungarian NGOs, but they're just staying in this one little area. They're not driving all the way across Ukraine and delivering goods. But the fact of the matter is that it's much easier and much better. Like, so for instance, I just sent 36 tourniquets. Okay, so this is the last thing I'm going to talk about today. I just did an order so people bought a total of 12 tourniquets. Okay, and I put them up here on the website for the price of not $2,000. Oh my God, come on! I put them at the price of $50 per tourniquet. Okay, because with shipping and handling, the prices can be as low for these. These are the cat tourniquets. Okay, the prices can be as low as like $30 up to $60, $65. So $50 was a good, like, safe price to offer them at. But with a lot of consultation from some of you, from my friends who have been out there on the front line, and people like, for example, Greg Terry, they all recommended to me this company and these tourniquets right here. Okay, and I was able to turn that $50 per tourniquet and buy 3 tourniquets for every one that people purchase. So instead of sending 12, I sent 36. And those are being sent out to the Bakhmut area, okay, to a battalion in the Legion that's in active combat, to a friend that I personally know. I'm sorry, Cheryl. I promise I'm finishing soon. I know it's getting like past your bedtime, and I apologize. So this is amazing. So I'm going to, once I have verified, once my friend in the Legion picks up those tourniquets from the Nova Postia, all he has to do is, the Nova Postias are like really, really close to the front line, like the nearest town and village, So like if we go out to like, let's say the Bakhmut area, just for example, okay, it might be like really, really close, like one of these towns right here. So I mean, more than one, probably multiple towns in this area has Nova Postias, the post office, fully operating. So it's much cheaper to send, and it's very fast, very efficient, to send and use that, and then these guys, they love it because it gives them a chance to get off the front line for a day or half a day, take a friend with them and go and pick up a bunch of stuff. So they'll be picking up 50 socks and 36 tourniquets, and I want to send more and more and more stuff. So yes, oh my God, Nielsen, you know that Hafschild means shield against the ocean. Yeah, you goddamn right. Oh my gosh, that's first person who knew that, Hafschild. And yeah, so my family, that's the name of my first Norwegian ancestor to come to America, the surname. And he took it from, Niels, if you know where Lier in Norway is, so it's north of Drammen, southwest of Oslo. That's where my family's from. And there's a little historical farm there called Hafschild. And that's my that's my the Norwegian part of my family. Yeah, so it's right here in this part of Norway. And my hobby is I do historical recreation, historical reconstruction. And so I took that as my Viking name, Hafschild. You'll see it's spelled here. It's spelled as Haskell. And so linguistically, it has changed at various times between Haskell and Hafschild. And Haskell is, I've had this traced by linguistic experts back to the 7th century in Norway. And Hals originally meant like gray in Old Norse, and Kol was where we get the word knoll, like a hill that's shaped like a skull. So it actually means gray skull. And there, if you want to know, there's a hill here called Fosskollen in modern Norwegian, which means waterfall hill. But it probably was originally called Haskell. And there are the ruins of a castle on top, Castle Greyskull. So those of you who watched He-Man as a child will remember something about that. But there's also something very interesting. One of the first Viking rulers of Kiev was named Askold. Okay, and Askold and Dir were the first Viking rulers of Kiev. And it comes most likely interpreted as the Norse version of Hoskolder, supposedly one of the sons of Ragnar Lothbrok, or no, I'm sorry, grandson of Ragnar Lothbrok, which is entirely possible. And so, yeah, it's possible that I somehow have a family connection, very, very distant family connection to that. Yeah, exactly. Maybe that'll be my. Oh God, no! I'm not going to make that my call sign. I'm not buff enough to, that would just be a joke. Okay. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for coming to the live stream. I'm going to let those of you who are in the United States go to bed. I want to thank everybody for coming, and please, if you can, right now, the thing that's needed the most is these 3 things: floor cleaner, toilet cleaner, and shower gel. Okay, I know that sounds crazy, but that's what we need in the training battalion. As soon as I can get 5 of each of these purchased, and you'll know when I've got enough, because it'll be sold out. Okay, and I'm gonna send those off to the Legion, and it gets there within a day, and you'll see I will post it to the community tab. Yeah. So thank you everybody. Dyakuyu, and yeah, what can I say? You guys are amazing. Slava Ukraine. Yeah. Do побачення.